Manuscripts. Hay House, which is the world's leading publisher of inspirational book, published Light Bulb Moments, 75 Lessons for Everyday Living. 6 countries. And thank you. And I also, as a life purpose coach, it took me a while to figure it out. Even though I knew my passion from the time that I was 14 years old, I tell people, when I get mad at somebody, I would write it. So I'd write you a letter telling the heinous crimes you committed against me, why I'm not going to be your friend anymore.
Okay.
But out of just all of my life experiences and transitioning through the bank, as you know, Brenda, and actually I came back to my first love, my passion for writing. So through that, meeting Les Brown, wonderful people like Dr. Miles Monroe, Mark Victor Hansen, George Fraser, all people who became endorsers for the book. And I just am sharing all those light bulb moments that led me along my journey. I also coach women's group. I have a group called coaching group called 5 Weeks to Personal Breakthrough, where I take you from aligning your values with your goals and then actually moving through creating a vision for what you want in your future and actually starting to set goals and bring those goals into fruition. So actually all my books are available, and I have some speaking CDs too because I do keynotes also. Books are available on Amazon, bn.com, also in Barnes & Noble stores. And I think Light Bulb Moments is also on iTunes.
Okay. Hey, Dave, we got some questions for you there. You still there?
Well,
sorry,
yeah,
David.
but my jaw's a little dropped open here. It feels like I dropped into a relationship, hotspot. So many talented folks. Oh my gosh, I'm in awe.
Hi,
David. And we're thankful that I needed a man here that had some awesomeness, to be there because they're just drowning me out over here. So thank you.
David going to help you.
Yeah.
I got your back, bro.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, I have a question for you, Mr. David. The question is, what's the best way to secure your relationship from a deal breaker? You got that?
It starts when you're single. And, I already talked about requirements, needs, and wants, right? I would like to share with you probably one of my best paradigms for singles ever. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
I call it screening in versus screening out. So if you're clear about who you are and what you want, and you're ready and available for a relationship, and those are all big ifs, right? And you're clear about your vision and your requirements, needs, and wants, then you use those as screening tools. And so you screen potential partners through your requirements, needs, and wants, through what you want in a relationship. And so screening in is what most people do, is that, they look at somebody and then they give them a chance to say, oh, well, there's a lot of value here. He's a real nice guy. I like this and this and this. I'm not so sure about this and this and this, but we'll see. Let's give him a chance. So screening in, you end up, going down dead ends and getting involved with people that aren't right for you because you're a nice person and you don't want to say no. Screening out is the opposite. Screening out is being ruthless. It's having no mercy. It's like, I know exactly what I'm looking for. If you don't fit it 100%, then goodbye. And, it's not to be mean. It's more to be efficient and to have boundaries and to, really honor who you are and what you want. And you're looking for the love of your life. You don't want to settle for anything less than that. And if you don't believe you deserve it or you don't believe you can find it, then that tends to be self-fulfilling. If you do believe that you deserve it, you do believe you can find it, then screen out everybody that isn't your soulmate. Everybody. 100% of them. And then when you do, you will find the one. And so people ask me, how do I find the one? How do I find the one? That's how you find the one. You say no to everybody that isn't the one.
Hey, David, I noticed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does your wife work with you in the process of what you're doing?
Yeah, she does. She's a registered nurse. She was working for the Veterans Administration with returning war vets, and she decided she wanted to work with me in Relationship Coaching Institute and share our mission and passion for relationship together. And that journey, actually, I've written a lot of books. I mean, if you go to Amazon and you look up my name, David Steele, you'll find Conscious Dating. You'll find Should I Stay or Should I Go? You'll find Million Dollar Practice. I've written a lot of books. This just past this year, we published our first book together called Radical Marriage.
Amen.
And it came out of our own relationship, out of our own learning together. And I'm so blessed that she's decided to work with me. I didn't ask for that, really. It's kind of always been my dream that, my soulmate and I would work together and share our mission together and spend 24 hours a day together. And now we're actually doing it. Amen.
Hey, I think one of the things they were saying, be clingy, but I like this. He wants to be with his wife, and she wants to be with him, and that's awesome. And the thing about it, everybody's up here now looking for your books and stuff like that, so they're on their phone like they're trying to check out. Like, I want to see all these books he's got, right. So they're looking for all the books, so you got people looking for your books already. Yes. But, the wonderful thing about David is that you were saying the screen in and screen out is that a lot of times people don't take the time to go through the process because they're trying to screen in so much, they don't necessarily realize that there's a lot of things that you have to screen out as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's very, great that you're talking about that. We're going to go into the relationship letters, David. I know, you're aware of that particular program we have, but Brenda's going to read a relationship letter that was sent to us, and then we're going to discuss it from all 3 or 4 or 5 parties. Okay? Okay, baby, go ahead.
Okay. Dear LST, I often wonder if knowing about something ahead of time is a good thing. My situation is mentally exhausting. I was told that I will be getting a promotion on my job in 2 months. However, deep down, I know I'm not qualified for the position that I will be receiving, although I welcome my boss's decision and I need the money badly. I also know that my coworker is qualified for the position and really earned it if she was offered it. The twist to this story is my boss is someone I am in a relationship with, and if I take the position, my coworkers will assume I only received it due to their speculations of what they think my relationship is with my boss. Although their thoughts are justifiable and warranted, I feel guilty and undeserving of this promotion. What should I do? Please help Miss Guilty.
Hey, David, I'm going to let the ladies go first because, I'm going to let the wisdom of the men go last.
Good strategy.
Talayah, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about that first.
Wow. Yeah, I was waiting for it to get to the relationship part. Now
me
I
too.
see. Yeah. I would say she should really talk to her boss/boyfriend. But she really should have a heart-to-heart talk with him and find out if that's really is why she's getting the promotion. If she doesn't feel that he deserves it, maybe he feels that she deserves it outside of the relationship. Find out if that's the case. Maybe sometimes as women, we underestimate ourselves. Find out first if there's something that he's seeing, maybe that she's not seeing. Maybe he sees some qualifications in her that she's not seeing. If it truly isn't the case, then possibly be honest with him and say, hey, so-and-so really is better qualified for the position. And you don't want to be in a position where your coworkers are looking at you like, yeah, you just got this because of your relationship with the boss. I think
you don't know what you're doing.
That makes a really uncomfortable work situation. And those kind of relationships don't always last.
Okay, before I go to Danae over here, I'm going to just say, hey, wait a minute. You really think the man going to tell it? Yeah, no, you're not. It's just because of he may not tell her the truth. He might say, yes, it was because you're that intelligent. Or how do we know that the young lady is not going to sit there and want the job anyway? She don't care about what anybody else thinks.
If she didn't care,
it's
she
like, hey,
writing the letter.
But she may just be looking for some opinions. I'm being the devil's advocate again. That's my job over here sometimes, David. But it's just the man may not be honest, and even if he says that, a lot of people may not believe it. But Danae, go ahead.
I do agree with everything that Talayah said.
Of course.
But I'm going to give another spin on it there. In addition to that, I think that it starts and ends with you, that you have to know. And what she said in that is that I don't feel qualified for this, but yet I see someone who is qualified. So first is to have that conversation with him, and hopefully he will be honest. But even if not, you have to sit with yourself and live with your decisions day after day. And if you know that you're not qualified, you don't want to be put into a position where you're going to be tested to be qualified, because you get that promotion and you can't perform, then you're probably going to get fired. And it's all about doing the right thing. And you see that that position is better suited for someone else, your sister, then you go ahead and honor your sister and say, you know what, Brenda is more qualified for this position there. It doesn't mean that you won't be, but you're doing the right thing, because you know you're not qualified. So don't take on something that you know you're not qualified for when your sister over here is ready to receive that promotion and deserving of that promotion.
So, sister over here, what you got to say about that? Sister over here.
I agree with Talayah and Janae.
That's right.
I truly do. Only thing I want to say to Miss Guilty is do the old-fashioned thing that always worked. Pray on it. I know you stated that you needed the money badly, but God will open up a proper way for you to get the money, because just like Danae said, you get that position, and for you set up for a promotion, to get a demotion, or to get fired.
Settle.
So think about what you're going to do. Don't worry about what the other people are going to think. You know in your heart what's right, or else you wouldn't wrote this beautiful letter. Tracy, you have something to say on that?
I totally agree with what everyone has said thus far. And the other thing that she might want to consider is not only what her work ethics are and what people will look at her in the future about, because she doesn't want to lose her job, and she doesn't want to make her boss/boyfriend look bad for recommending her either. So she wants to make sure that she looks good, he looks good. And like Danae said, the person that deserves the job gets it, because there'll always be another job that'll come along, and that might be the right job for you.
All right, so David, I'm going to let you chime in on that question as well. Did you you heard the question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I got to say, I agree with everything that everyone has said so far. There's a lot of wisdom in this room. So I think the thing that I can add to the discussion is that this is a decision-making, it's a choice-making situation. And when you have a choice to make in your life, we tend to make choices in the same way, right? So we follow patterns. You know, nothing's random. We tend to follow patterns. So what's more important to me is Miss Guilty's pattern of choice-making. And so a suggestion that I would make to her and anybody listening, actually, for a paradigm for choice-making that might be helpful is that if you're faced with a choice, make the one that is in alignment with your head and your heart and your intuition.
Yes.
So your head is going to evaluate all the variables and do it analytically and logically, right? And so Miss Guilty is looking at this intellectually and saying, I'm not qualified. And that's a judgment. But it's her judgment, and that's what counts, and she's probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the heart or the emotions, you know, it says, how are you feeling about this? Well, she obviously feels icky. You know, she does not feel good about it. And then there's the intuition, right? And the intuition is like your inner knowing. It's that little voice inside of you. And it doesn't always tell you what you want to hear, right? And in this situation, it's telling Miss Guilty, you know, bad idea, you're not qualified, your boyfriend's doing this for the wrong reasons, you know, this is not a good choice. But it's a very small little voice, but it's definitely speaking to her. So from my perspective, this is very, very clearly obvious that her head and her heart and her intuition are all saying, no, 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 this is not the way to go, and she has to listen to that.
Yeah, you know, and I agree with all of you all that said here. I don't know if we're about to get ready to go to a commercial break before I chime into myself, but I will say this, and then we go commercial afterwards. I don't really think that she needs to focus on the fact that she's not qualified or the other person is qualified. Because even if he doesn't pick her, he may not necessarily pick the girl that's qualified. He may find somebody else that's less qualified than you. And so the qualification of that is not as important to me as her own feeling herself. She signed the letter as Miss Guilty, which means she doesn't feel comfortable herself with the position. So the qualification aside, if you don't feel comfortable with the position and taking the position, that's already as a deal breaker or a red flag that this position is not for you or something you shouldn't take it. Not necessarily because the people are going to say it's your boyfriend that gave it to you, because they may say the same thing when they say she didn't take it because of her boyfriend. So the boyfriend scenario is not a good thing, but the fact that she's feeling uncomfortable with taking a position that she knows that she herself will not fully be able to acclimate herself to do the best job available